Okay, let's just dive right in. For months now, if you've been paying any attention to WWE, there's one name that's been just gone.
Mhm.
Tiffany Stratton.
Conspicuously absent. And it's not just any talent.
So no, she's a star. Her energy, that presence, it's left this huge void, especially on SmackDown.
Oh, absolutely. The women's roster over there, I mean, they desperately need her kind of athleticism and that confidence she brings.
And that absence, of course, has just fueled all kinds of speculation. The questions have been flying for weeks.
Right. Was it creative? Was she on some kind of strategic hiatus? Or, and this is the one you always worry about, was something going wrong behind the scenes?
Well, our deep dive into the latest reports finally connects the dots for you.
Yeah.
And honestly, the findings are a huge relief for anyone who's a fan of her work.
A massive relief. The sources confirm it was basically a three-part story: an injury, the recovery time that goes with it, and maybe most importantly, a strategic decision to wait for the perfect moment to bring her back.
And that clarity is so important, it completely changes the conversation.
Yeah, we can stop asking what happened and start asking what's next. But, before we get into the strategy of her return, we have to talk about why she left. The reports call it a messy period creatively.
Right, because stars like her don't just vanish, especially not after that huge call-up from NXT. So what was happening right before she went off the map?
It all started with that high-profile rivalry with Jade Cargill.
On paper, a dream match.
A total dream matchup. Two amazing athletes, incredible looks, the future of the division. But the sources are pretty clear that, well, despite Tiffany doing everything she could, the feud just never really clicked.
And that sounds like a booking issue, not a talent one.
Hmm.
What exactly made it feel so off?
It was pacing and just some weird structural problems. I mean, if you look at the timeline, the momentum was always getting cut off. For instance, Tiffany gets this massive win over Jade at SummerSlam.
Which should have been it. A clean break, a new direction.
Exactly. That should have been the launch pad. But instead of running with that, they just dragged the feud out on SmackDown.
Ugh. And that's where it started to get messy.
That's where the wheels started to wobble, yeah. And then, to make it even more complicated, they threw Nia Jax into it. It just turned into this convoluted triple threat mess.
And that's the moment it lost all focus for me. It just became a scramble.
It did. And our sources say that introducing a third person didn't just dilute the rivalry, it actually exposed the flaws that were already there. The story stopped being about Tiffany and became about juggling three big names in one awkward arc.
So no clean finish, nothing that elevated everybody, just complicated and muddled.
Precisely. And her last appearance was that loss to the new heel Jade Cargill at Saturday night's main event back in November. After that,
Silence.
total silence. No promos, no backstage stuff, nothing. And that sudden stop is what created the vacuum for all the rumors to start. That she was being put on ice or something was wrong behind the scenes.
And when a star like that disappears, you naturally assume the worst, creatively.
Of course. The fans had nothing else to go on. But that brings us right to the big reveal, the thing that solved the entire mystery.
Because it wasn't creative, it wasn't politics, it was her health.
That's the key. It wasn't until reporters like Dave Meltzer finally confirmed that, yes, Tiffany Stratton was dealing with an injury. Now, the initial report didn't have a ton of detail. We still don't know exactly what it was.
But it explained the why.
It immediately explained the why. She couldn't be on TV because she physically couldn't be in a ring.
And that alone put so much of the fan worry to rest. It wasn't a punishment. It wasn't creative just forgetting about her. It was a required 2 months on the sidelines.
And that 2-month window, in wrestling terms, that's pretty common. It suggests something that probably didn't need major surgery, maybe a scope, a deep bone bruise, something that just needed rest.
But the really definitive news came a bit later from bodyslam.net. And that's what moves us from looking back to looking forward.
Yeah, the update is clear. She is, quote, no longer sidelined. She's healed, she's cleared, and she is ready to go.
So the takeaway is simple. It was injury, recovery, and now, perfect timing.
The most opportune time of the year, really.
And here's where the real strategy comes into play, because when you look at that calendar, cleared right at the start of the year, it points to one event.
It points directly to the Royal Rumble, and the Rumble isn't just another show. It's the official start of the road to WrestleMania. It's the perfect place for a reintroduction.
Because that surprise entrance creates instant buzz.
Instant buzz and instant momentum. The pop from that crowd when the music hits. You can't manufacture that.
And she's been gone just long enough that fans aren't burnt out on her. Her return becomes this massive moment all by itself.
That's the silver lining of the injury, right? It's created genuine anticipation. So now the debate for WWE becomes fascinating, and the reports lay out two big tactical questions they have to answer.
Okay, let's get into those choices because this is what's going to define her whole year. First up, how do you even reveal that she's back?
Right. Do you announce her ahead of time? Sell the anticipation, maybe boost some ticket sales for the event?
Get the pre-show hype machine going.
Exactly. Or do you keep it a total secret for that genuine shock entry when her music hits? That's the moment that lives forever on YouTube.
I gotta say, I lean towards the surprise. For a star trying to get her momentum back, that explosive reaction is just pure gold.
I'm with you, especially for someone like Tiffany. But the second question is just as important, and it's about her entry number. Pacing versus impact.
The classic early bird or the late game surprise.
Yep. Do you bring her in early, say somewhere between 5 and 10, let her work for a while, get a few eliminations, shake off the rust?
Show she's durable, ready for a long fight.
Or do you save her for a late spot, maybe even the legendary number 30, and let that moment just speak for itself? Make her an immediate, credible threat.
But let's connect that to the big prize. With all this fan excitement, why wouldn't they just go all the way and have her win the whole thing? The sources seem to think that's unlikely.
And that's a really good question about strategic pacing. I think the thinking is you don't need to rush her straight into a WrestleMania title match the second she's back from injury.
But wouldn't a surprise number 30 entry and a win be the biggest statement possible?
It would, but look at the path it creates. If she wins, she gets a title shot, and right now that probably leads her right back to Jade Cargill. And we've already established that feud, it's kind of run its course for now. The booking wasn't great.
So avoiding a win isn't about her ability. It's about avoiding a story that didn't work the first time.
Precisely. The value is in the return itself. Make a strong statement without locking her into a title feud that has all this baggage. The time away has actually helped her. Fans are genuinely eager to see her again.
And you have to channel that excitement very carefully. It's not just about a big pop at the Rumble. It's about long-term elevation.
Correct. And that's the path forward we need to talk about, because that division, even with some good things happening lately.
Like Alexa Bliss being back, Jordan Grace's call-up.
Right. Even with those positives, there is still a noticeable gap that a star with Tiffany's unique skill set can fill.
What kind of gap are we talking about? Just depth.
It's more about star power in that upper mid-card. She brings that extreme confidence, the high-level athleticism, and a look that just screams main event. Her return needs to be about putting her in a spot where she can really shine without the pressure of a WrestleMania main event right away.
So if she doesn't go for the world title after a strong Rumble showing, what's the goal? What gives her that purpose?
Well, if you look at the title scene, there's one championship that stands out as desperately needing someone like her to redefine it. The Women's United States Championship.
I could see that. I mean, Chelsea Green is entertaining as the champion, but the title itself often feels like a complete afterthought.
It really does. It's on the pre-show. It gets quick segments. It's not being treated like the proving ground it should be for future main eventers.
So the idea is Tiffany Stratton could be used to change everything for that title.
Absolutely. She has the star power to make a championship feel important just by holding it. Putting her in that picture does two critical things at once. First, the title gets instant relevance. Second, it gives Tiffany a, quote, clear lane to rebuild momentum without being thrown back into a feud that already ran its course.
Like a lower pressure spot than a world title chase, yeah?
Yeah.
It lets her find her footing again on the main roster, but while holding gold.
That's the strategic beauty of it. She elevates the title, and the title gives her a defined purpose on TV every week. It is a clean slate.
And the clean slate is exactly what the Royal Rumble is all about. It's the perfect way to bring her back without any of that old baggage. One strong showing, a few key eliminations, and she is right back in the conversation.
The table is set perfectly. The reports say she's ready. The calendar is screaming for a huge return. And the women's division needs her star power to fill that gap, especially around a title that needs a purpose. Her absence wasn't a failure. It was just a prelude.
So let's just bring this all together for you. We know she's healed, she's cleared, and the Rumble is the moment. The U.S. Championship is the target. But it all really hinges on that first choice WWE makes, the initial reveal.
And that's the final question to think about as we head towards the Rumble. With all this anticipation that's built up, What's the best way to maximize this moment? Is it better for Tiffany to return quietly or with a bang announced or as a surprise? And whatever they choose, what does that choice signal about WWE's long-term plans for her? The decision they make will tell you everything about how much they truly value her as a cornerstone for the future.